8:13. All right, so elections, pretty easy. We'll do secret ballots, we'll turn them in, they'll be counted. We'll find out who's on the board. And Catherine, do you have everybody checks out?
No, actually, they brought that to me, since I'm the vice president. There's a discrepancy in the, bylaws that will negate Gary Johnson from running for the board at this time. He's a paid fireman for the district at the point, and the bylaws were changed at the meeting at the church to where no firefighter can run, paid firefighter can run for the board of directors.
I think that was no more than 2 career firefighters on the board.
It got changed, I got it right here, it says only two Lakeview Fire District firefighters, or no career firefighters employed. No,
Really, that's not the motion I made.
I didn't, no career, there's only 2 Lakeview firefighters, or no career firefighters employed by the Lakeview Fire District.
Okay, he's not a career firefighter.
I just realized that,
But he is employed by Lakeview Fire District.
But he's not a career
Is he,
firefighter.
Chief, what's his employment? Is
He's
he,
being paid as a career firefighter on a 1-year contract. By the state of Alabama, you can be hired as a career professional firefighter, and you have 1 year from your employment date.
I'm sorry, that's.
But what makes you a career firefighter, Tyler?
your job title is a
Job
professional?
No, your qualifications.
You got
He
1
does not
year.
have firefighter too.
It doesn't matter what if you're being paid as a firefighter hourly, you are.
How many firefighters we got up there that are with Lakeview?
None that are paid by Lakeview. Brandon is volunteering.
Okay, Brandon's volunteer, so that means you don't have any pay, and you're allowed to.
No, you're allowed 2 firefighters, 0 that are paid as career firefighters by Lakeview. It was done specifically to keep,
Gary, are you gonna
It is-
resign as a paid firefighter and be a volunteer?
And also, if I'm not mistaken, there's a paycheck still on the books that he just worked this last week. Is that correct?
For how many does?
Just one.
Miss Martha, please.
I believe it's just this weekend.
Okay.
So he came on in 2020 with you, March 2020 with you. He had a 4-year term there.
That was before this got changed.
I'm not
Okay.
talking about that. He had a 4-year term he came on. He was deployed to go overseas for his country, and y'all put a temporary in to replace him. When he comes back, when 21 election rolls around, he's up for re-election again.
He
So,
wasn't in a 4-year term at that point. I think he was
in
still.
March of 20, you and him came on.
Mhm.
So, who got moved around and who did the moving around that he was up in 21? He got moved to a different place than the one he was elected for in March of 20. And then he was not allowed to be nominated that night too.
I don't believe he was actually elected. I think he was appointed to
No, he
fill,
was elected.
to fill a
I was
remainder.
there, or-
I'm not in his original seat, but I believe he was filling a vacant seat. We can check on that, but if I remember, because I was quite ill when he wasn't nominated. There was a miscommunication there that it was thought that he had to be nominated from the floor. That's the only reason he didn't get nominated beforehand, and that was a miscommunication on the part of
He had,
everybody.
if you go back and look at the minutes of the, September 21 meeting, he announced, while he was still on the board, he announced he was running for re-election. But yet somehow the nominations got cut off that night before he could be nominated.
In the
When those-
2020.
21 at the church, remember?
Yeah, when we asked for nominations,
Yeah, the
nobody
floor was open
nominated.
and announced 3 times before.
Yeah, and I remember this very distinctly because I spoke to Gary about it afterwards. Because I was ill about
Gary
it
will
too.
admit to it, I'm sure.
And
There was
There
a lot
was,
of
for some
frustration
reason,
there.
people were under the impression that you had to nominate a member of the board from the floor. Not, like, the board members couldn't do it. And nobody nominated him.
Okay,
Even though he had announced he wanted to run again. I don't know why that happened. I wasn't even running that meeting, so.
the definition of a career firefighter means any person who has his or her primary employment as a firefighter, who ordinarily works at that employment at least 20 hours per week, and who is enrolled as a firefighter in a public retirement system. And that
What are you reading
is
from?
Law Insider.
Law
Now,
and
Alabama
insider.
Fire College says if you're paid hourly, you are a career firefighter.
And let's get this.
Even in that time frame, say you get hired, and then 3 months goes by before you can get in rookie school, in fire school.
Let this.
What's your
let's-
title for that 3 months if you're not a career firefighter? You're not a volunteer, because you're getting paid hourly.
But let's get this 100% straight, why that provision was actually put into the bylaws in the first place. It was to prevent the conflict of interest of having somebody sit on this board who also had a direct influence over their own paycheck. Because if I'm a firefighter who is sitting on this board, I can use my vote to push for things like increased firefighter pay. And we were actually advised by our attorney that should not happen at all. She didn't even particularly
Who changed
care.
the motion that was made that night?
Nobody did. That motion is actually
That's
recorded.
what
Brandon
motion
did.
I
And it was brought up, and you said if it needed to be changed, that the person who made the motion had to do it.
And have they done it?
Janet's telling you now that that's not the motion she
I
made.
brought it up several times, that if, when the minutes were read, the next time I said, that's not the motion I made.
Now, the motion was
Well,
read.
it's already been approved in a matter of record.
Yeah, what was read before the floor and voted on by the floor is what was there. Now, if you want to make a motion to amend them, make a motion to amend them. They'll go into effect just like all other bylaw changes.
Well, I make a motion to amend it.
Okay?
No more than two.
We're gonna write this down. We need it written. Somebody.
My whole thing is no more than two firefighters on that board, whether they work for Lakeview. Okay, he's got one vote. He's got 6 more sitting there that says you don't get the raise. He has no control over his own
He's
pay.
got-
Are you wanting to make it more strict or less strict? Because it sounds like you want to make it more strict, not more than 2,
No, what
period.
I'm saying is he can't,
I'll have to
Janet.
excuse myself, is what she's saying.
Give me the exact language of your motion, please.
no more than 2 firefighters on the board. Paid or volunteer or whatever, no more than 2 firefighters on the board.
Well,
And that was what was a.
Regardless of who they work for, regardless, just no more than.
Regardless.
How much the volunteers get on their
yes.
reimbursement?
And that's-
Huh? No,
I'm a
no,
volunteer, but I don't accept pay.
but I can be in 2 weeks.
So your motion is to amend the bylaws to change it
Well, I
from
need you tonight.
what it currently is to no more than 2 firefighters, paid or volunteer, may serve on the board at the same time.
Yes, sir. That is the motion that I had originally made.
Hold up. I'm a volunteer.
Brandon.
Brandon's a volunteer firefighter, career firefighter.
Now,
There's no more than 2, he's the only.
hold,
Yeah, I understand.
hold up, we have a motion on the floor. Yep. Before I entertain a second, do we have discussion, do we have questions? Please don't talk over each other, and I'm gonna try my best to do the same. Does anyone have any questions, comments, discussion that they wanna add to this matter? Just this motion, nothing else.
Don't see the advantage of this motion. The other one covers no more than 2 non-paid firefighters on the board, which makes sense.
Nothing said anything
And-
about non-paid.
But by opening it up to anything like that, I don't see the necessity we're making the change.
Okay, so you don't see a necessity in the change because you don't think it benefits the
That
department
does
to
not
change it?
benefit anyone.
Okay. Anyone else have any
And
questions or
I
commentary?
got a comment. I know a lot of y'all don't like our lawyer, but she does try to protect us, and it is a conflict of interest for a paid person, even if it was a secretary, to sit up here on the board. It's a conflict of interest, and it doesn't need to happen. That's why it was wrote that way. And we asked Janet about it, and we said, we added that, and she agreed to it. From-
Any other commentary, questions?
We shouldn't have any,
Well, then Brandon, get up.
I'm not paid here.
It doesn't matter, you're a firefighter.
Excuse
You
me,
better.
please keep this to regarding this motion and not discussions of individuals. Any other discussion of this motion? Any other questions regarding this motion? Mr. Porter, did you have one?
I do have a question, Mr. Jones.
Yes, sir.
If you would, well, if you could please hold that till after the motion, let's keep this as clean as we can. Anyone else have any commentary, questions, anything of that nature regarding this motion? Mr.
I have
Quinn?
a question. We're here discussing about whether this gentleman is eligible to run or not. And somehow we took off on a whole different tangent in our changing the bylaw. Shouldn't we stay on track? Is the gentleman eligible or isn't he, Jeff?
Under the current bylaws, he is not.
You can't change the bylaws and then.
You're correct. This would take place after this.
Yeah, so you need to finish the business at hand and then entertain the motion to change the bylaw. 'Cause it really has no effect.
Motion any way you want to.
Either he's eligible or he's not. If he is eligible, you need to have the election and then entertain the bylaw.
Well, there was a
100% agree, but I
similar-
do have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second for this motion?
You have one?
All right, so we do have a motion and a second. I do have a noted objection,
No,
but
Can other people be nominated now?
I don't see why it wouldn't be the case as long as they can be checked out. If we all want to sit around and wait for another person to be checked out. But at this moment, let's finish what we're doing right now. All right, we're gonna do this by hand count, because obviously there's not gonna be the same. If you are in favor of this bylaw change, raise your hand. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, hold on, keep your hands up. Has everybody got their hands up? 13. All opposed? Please, quiet while I'm counting. 6, 7, 8, 11. Looks like we have 12. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. That is a deadlock. That's 12 and 12.
You counted
That's
our
okay, count 13 on the first. All right, 13, motion carries. All right, bylaws are amended.
Now let's get on with it.
Now let's continue with the election.
So, is that all you had, Brandon, I guess?
I mean, it's still,
All righty.
can't read the bylaws.
I would like to nominate Diane.
All right,
This is nobody else.
let's carry forward with our election then, since we have a nomination and a rejection. I guess we don't have a vote here. All right, I'll entertain, oh, wait a minute. Do we have any other business? And actually, Brandon, I'll leave closing voting up to you. closing the floor for votes since I'm in it.
Who's
So-
running?
Well, right now, just me,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
So it's a closed, there's only one position, so you officially fall into that position,
I
correct?
guess I do.
Okay.
Any other further business?
I've, I got something I apologize for not bringing it before. I'll throw out there and see. I'd like to make a motion that we change our meeting times to 6 o'clock instead of 7 if there's enough people in support of that. 7 o'clock is late, especially on nights like tonight,
6 PM for the regular meetings?
all of them.
For all of them. So there's a motion on the floor to change the meeting time for all meetings, members' meetings, annual meetings, and regular scheduled meetings to 6 PM, what is it, the third or, is it third Tuesday? Third Tuesday of every month. And the annual meeting would be the third Tuesday of October. Do we have any second on this motion?
I'll say.
I have a second. Is there any commentary on this motion?
Yes. You got people that don't get off work till after 6 o'clock. And then you got people that drive from Birmingham back up here after they get released, so.
I mean, that's definitely true, but you're gonna hit somebody one way or another.
Yeah, I get up at 4 in the morning.
Yeah, some people get up at 4 in the morning and don't want to be here at 7 and.
I get up at 4 in the morning, I leave from the base, I don't get released till 5:30, I can't be here until 6:30, 6:45.
I personally like 7. To be honest, if we could do these in the middle of the day, I'd do them in the middle of the day, but that would be unfair to just about everybody.
I didn't really think about thinking.
All right, we have a second withdrawn. Hey, all right, guys, come on, let's try and keep calm here. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll say.
Darryl, did you second? We have a motion and a second. Once again, we'll do this by show of hands. All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All opposed? Yeah, that's gonna be a clean sweep there. It's gonna stay at 7. Sorry, Doug. It's all right. Sorry, Darryl.
That's fine.
Good thought. Good thought. Mike Fisher voted for it. All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn if there's no other comments or
Yeah,
other
Mr.
business. they'd
Porter
like to-
had something he wanted.
Mr. Jones, did you not have a clue before tonight that Mr. Johnson was gonna run for the board? Was gonna
They
be
did.
nominated for the board?
They know.
Had you been a co-worker or a firefighter with him, don't you think it would only make sense to let him know before?
He didn't let me know he was running for the board.
And, well, I bet you knew, but it sounds to me like you was doing something to cover something up.
Oh, my.
It's right here. I mean, I can give you a copy of the
I'm not
bylaw.
saying that,
I'll look.
but I bet you that somebody told you along the line that Mr. Johnson was gonna be nominated.
It was brought to me about, during that check right there, it was brought to me at the, right here. And the bylaws were printed off the computer right there. So,
Well,
So tell me, I think
Well, this is my thing, he was a paid firefighter the last time he was nominated and was put on the board.
that was before the,
I was a
No,
volunteer.
he was a paid.
And he just said
He
himself.
just said he's volunteer.
I was a volunteer when I ran the first time.
When did you stop being paid?
Hey, we've been over this. We're not gonna keep everybody out here again to argue. The man just said he was
we
volunteer.
wanted to
Hold on.
answer Mr. Porter's response and we gave him that floor, so.
Janet, did you have something to add?
Yeah, I just wanna know, I've missed a couple of meetings, but I was told that it was voted on in a meeting that the, volunteers would be paid for their extracurricular stuff, like if they go to the schools, the daycare, parades, and what have you. Is that true?
I don't recall that, no.
So nobody got paid to go to the,
That's all I know.
If I may clarify something.
Go ahead.
I was a paid firefighter when I ran the first time, but I was not a paid firefighter for Lakeview, I was a paid firefighter for Green Pond Fire. I had left volunteer service at Lakeview, went to be a paid firefighter at Green Pond, so.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Were we in the Brookwood parade?
No,
No.
Why did we go on with Montebello?
because we didn't hear anything, we did about Montebello.
I don't know why you didn't, you got one of our volunteers.
Nobody from North said they were doing it.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Hey, I have a motion to adjourn and a second. All in favor? Are there any opposed? All right, annual meeting is adjourned at 8:34, and we will move directly into the monthly Board of Directors meeting after swearing in, or for swearing in.